This is a video response to one of Forrest. I don't know the rest of it. I know his name is Forrest with a bunch of numbers after it. Comment on my video about Jesus Freaks and about thinking everyone. He asked me what I like about Fear, the video game. Well, there's several things I like about Fear. For number one, it's not because of the blood and the gore, even though I'm actually a fan of that. And if you want to go into something like that, the Bible is one of the bloodiest books ever written in the Old Testament. So we can go into that too. The story of Fear, I can't. It's got to be the story of the movie or the game that I'm playing that really gets me into it. It's about this little 13 or this little 12-year-old girl, 10-year-old girl, Alma, who her parents mistreated her, but you did experiments on her or her father and such as like that. But what I found really interesting about Fear is that Alma, I don't know yet because Project Origin's not out yet. Alma, even though she can do all this stuff, doesn't seem to be the bad guy. She, like in Fear Files, she was helping me throughout the game, and I wanted to find out why. If she was actually the bad guy, or if it was Flint's, or whatever that other guy's name was actually doing it. Without giving up things for Jesus, you're completely right. You're completely right. But I want you to think about it, and it really doesn't. I don't think, unless I don't know the verses in the Bible, which I don't know the Bible all that well yet. But I don't think it says do not watch or do not subject yourself to watching any violence and gore or to anything like that. If the game, but some games do. As much as people argue they don't, but some games do make you think like, man, just think, if I had a gun like that, I can use that with my enemy at school. That's thinking murder. And as it says in the Bible, if you think murder, you've already created murder. Or if it changes your way of thinking about the world. Like if I go out and says and say, man, if I had Almost powers right now, I can just lift that guy up who just cussed me out and throw him up against the wall, or just blow him up where he's at, or something like that. Then I should think about, well, why am I thinking like that? I shouldn't be thinking like that. So I'm gonna give up the games, which I mostly have to begin with. I haven't played a game in I don't know how long. Last game was Carbon. There's only, like I said on the video, there's only 2 games I'm looking forward to. It's like watching a movie too. Some of my favorite movies is Saw, and the reason why is because of the first 3 Saws. I really didn't care for the 4th one because it doesn't have the same meaning. Man of cancer is dying, and he does it the wrong way, of course. He shouldn't have done it the way he done it. But he tries to let people know how much life is precious to them and how much life is actually delicate to people. And I found that interesting in the movie. Now, if I went out and if that movie made me think, man, I can do that and really let people know how precious life is, and I started doing it myself, change my way of thinking and my thought through about Jesus and such, it'd be different. I would give it up. And I want to know what you guys think about this kind of thinking, because this is how I think. I did give something up. I did sacrifice something huge because I wanted to get closer to Jesus. And the reason why is because what I gave up is extremely personal to me. It really gets into my spirit, and it does change my way of thinking. about things, and that's music and lyrics with the music. And I used to listen to Metallica, Pantera, Megadeth, Nine Inch Nails used to be some of my favorite, Linkin Park. I mean, some of the heaviest bands that you can think of. You know, Disturbed. And when I first got saved, I started listening to those musics again, and it just didn't seem right. It didn't feel right, because it changes my thought process about what I think of the world and what I think of stuff. You know, it actually affects me. You know, I get a lot out of music, and that's because I'm so passionate in music. So I threw all those CDs away. I gave all that up. I gave it all up, so I can get closer to Jesus. And that's how I feel about it, and that's how I think. Because you know, the Lord never says, you know, never watch any violence at the door, never play, you know, anything with it, or you know, stuff like that. He just says never create murder, never create adultery, never steal, you know, and, you know, honor thy mother, thy father, you know, if and that's such a thing. Well, let me put it this way, okay? I'm in martial arts, and I'm in Kachi Kimbo, which is Taekwondo, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, kickboxing, and street fighting all together. Learning how to fight, learning how to defend myself. Why am I learning it? I'm learning it just because I love it. It's great exercise. It's great for the mental body. I wouldn't be the person I would be today if it wasn't for that. Now, it's a very violent art, extremely violent art. You know, there's moves that can separate elbows and put your elbow where your shoulder is. You know, and it's an extremely violent art. Learning that art, is that a sin? I'd like your thought on that too, Forrest. Is that a sin, learning that art and knowing that I can do those things even though I'll never do them? Of course, the first rule of that art is avoid a fight whenever possible. And then the second rule is, if you have no choice due to life or death situation, only defend yourself. You know, and use it for defense. Seafood King Johnson taught me that. And Sihim Grinding, which are my martial arts teachers in Oregon. I miss doing it too. So let me know what you think about it, Forrest. About that. You know, I think if it doesn't change my train of thought of what I think about Jesus, like if I don't go out and, if I all of a sudden go out and say, man, you know, if Alma was here, I can picture what she could do, you know, and start picturing it in my head. Then I might go, wait a minute, why am I thinking that? I shouldn't be thinking that. And then start praying and fasting about it to the Lord. But I feel that if it doesn't, you know, it's going to be violent. Let's say you watch the news. The news is violent. I mean, we hear about the earthquakes and about a guy getting attacked, about a grizzly bear and everything else on the news. You know, and I watch the news every single morning, and I must watch the news because I must keep track and watch for signs of God, which has been popping up as of late, I believe. That's like almost like plain fear, which I understand. You're actually the character who is doing the killing and stuff like that. Do I draw a line? Of course I do. I don't like Grand Theft Auto 4. You know, I draw a line. I don't watch vampire movies because they actually vampires are a religious thing that I don't agree with anymore. And it used to be one of my favorite types of movies, Interview with the Vampire, for instance. And I don't watch that no more. I don't watch vampires movies anymore. I don't watch any movies to where it puts down Jesus. I'm non-denominational. I don't have a religion. I don't have a denomination. I'm here for Jesus and Jesus alone. That's the only reason why I'm here. So let me know what you think, Forrest, and please let's talk about this. this would be cool. It'll be my first conversation on YouTube since I joined, so I'm excited. God bless Forrest, and thank you for the comment.